for the next couple of days. Tonight, he's going to be going to a fundraiser. Tomorrow is the summit with China's president, and he's about ready to deplane right now.
In his signature aviators.
His signature black aviators. There you go. Always so interesting to watch how this goes when he gets off of Air Force One there. There's first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, and then Governor Gavin Newsom there, and he's flanked by Secret Service. Lots of security ahead of the big APEC summit this week, and you know, he's going to be here for 4 days, which is pretty remarkable. And again, I said that he's, you know, tomorrow night he will be meeting with China's president. Then tomorrow night he's going to have an official reception, and then Thursday he will address business CEOs here for the conference. And then Thursday he's going to host a dinner with leaders of the APEC member economies and their spouses. And there he is, also greeting San Francisco Mayor London Breed. And I'm curious, Weijia, you know, this comes at a really important time, as we were mentioning, ahead of his re-election campaign, less than a year out. What do you think this year is going to be like for you covering his re-election? What do you think it's the travel? What are you going to be looking for?
You know, we keep trying to figure out how much he is going to travel, because I don't think it's going to be, you know, jumping on a press plane or a press bus going from city to city to city, because he's also the president of the United States. So he has a day job. But again, I do think at every official event, he will take, you know, time again to make his case. I do think it is going to be a ramp up in travel the closer we get, so he can really connect with people. I mean, that's why this meeting with Xi Jinping was so important to President Biden, because he has said many times that there's nothing like sitting face to face with somebody to try to connect with them. And that's what he hopes to do and wants to do with voters as he tries to win them over in 2024. I will say, Elizabeth, that it was fascinating to me that, you know, here is Gavin Newsom, who many believe could be a substantial figure in presidential politics in the future, and President Biden, because, you know, you have to wonder what they may or may not be talking about, you know, in private. But yeah, I think that this is such an important time for the president, and he'll be trying to portray, you know, that he is the person when it comes to experience, when it comes to dealing with foreign leaders, when it comes to the economy, with every issue you can think of. So, you know, I think it will be a very busy year coming up for him.
Yeah, and it's interesting, San Francisco being the backdrop for this big conference of all these world economies descending here for this big meeting tomorrow, and also just for the big conference. And I'm curious what your experience has been like coming here. I mean, we've talked a lot about how the city is really cleaned up many of the streets to put its best face forward, the tight security, obviously all the road closures. Have you felt it? Has it felt different? Has it felt, you've obviously have a lot of experience here in San Francisco. I'm curious, what's it like being here as a national journalist?
I mean, anytime you go anywhere where the president of the United States is within a couple miles from you, you do feel that extra sense of security. And in many ways, you feel an isolation from what the normal hustle and bustle would be. I've been, you know, following along on all of your reporting on just the minor inconveniences it has for people who live here, because there is so much security, because it's not just President Biden, but when you're talking about so many world leaders all in one place, you can definitely feel it. So I think that I wonder if the president will be spending, you know, any time touring the city with the mayor, because sometimes things pop up that are not on his official schedule. So, you know, I know that he is very committed and has said, you know, that he wants to work on the issues that really separate people when it comes to, you know, classes, and how he always talks about wanting to give every American a little more breathing room. So I think, you know, he's here, and this is a great opportunity for him to really take in what people are going through in this city.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for him, but also important for this city. I think so many city leaders want to remind the world that San Francisco is a world-class city that can handle a huge event like this,
Correct.
that it can play host to the world's most powerful people and do so in a clean and safe way, and to kind of rebuke some of the reputation, the stories that have come out over the recent years that San Francisco isn't a safe city, that it's been plagued with a whole host of problems. I want to get back a little bit to the campaign trail. It's going to be such an interesting year. And how contentious do you think it's going to be as we get closer to Election Day between the Trump group and Biden administration?
Well, I think in some ways it never stopped being contentious because, the former president has never really gone away since he lost the election because he was always mounting his hopeful re-election. And so he has been having rallies, he has been outspoken, he has been posting on his social media platform since he left the White House. And so, I think he will turn it up to the degree that he can. But, one thing that we have heard from the Biden administration since day one is that they are going to focus more on what the president has been doing on his agenda. That being said, they have already drawn contrasts with the former president. In fact, when they launched the official re-election campaign, there were nods to January 6th and the threat of democracy and Trump. So I do think it'll be really fascinating to see the attacks unfold as we get closer to November 2024, just in 1 year. And I have to say, nobody knows, right? You never know. You really, really never know. But, a lot can happen between now and then, and a lot of unknowns, a lot of things that we aren't even thinking about could happen.
Right.
So, it's exciting, and we'll both be on the ride.